studies estimate that we ingest and inhale between tens of thousands to millions of microplastics every year. That's equivalent to the weight of a credit card every single week. And these microscopic particles have been detected in our blood, in our stool, in mother's breast milk, and in various other organs of our body. So that's pretty shocking and scary, right? Today we're going to take a deep dive into how big of a problem this really is and how it affects our weight loss goals for women over 50. And I'm going to give you specific action steps to lessen the load on your body and your health. Most of us have heard about not heating food in plastic or skipping plastic water bottles. But honestly, that's just the tip of the iceberg, because these particles aren't just passing through you. Research should show that they're being absorbed deep into your lungs, your liver, your bones, and even our brain. And here's the part that matters most for this conversation. It's not just our overall general health, it's also a hormone issue, which is why I'm dealing with this today, which means if you're 50 or older, you're dealing with this at the exact same time that your body's already going through one of the biggest hormonal shifts of your life. So that combination of the declining natural estrogen plus a daily load of chemicals that impersonate estrogen is why so many women in this stage of life feel like their body has changed the rules on them overnight. So let me explain. Many of these plastic particles carry chemicals called bisphenols, phthalates, I cannot pronounce that, and PFAS. So researchers actually have a name for these chemicals. They call them obesogens, and what they do to us biologically is interfere with the signals that control our metabolism and our energy balance. So for women over 50, this shows up in very specific ways. They mimic estrogen and cortisol at the exact moment that your own estrogen is declining. So your body is already recalibrating, and then these chemicals add a major confusing signal that can worsen your insulin resistance and drive fat storage, especially around our midsection. Sound familiar? They also accelerate aging in the fat tissue itself. It impairs how efficiently that tissue can store and burn energy on top of the metabolic slowdown that already comes with this stage of life. They disrupt your gut microbiome also, which is closely tied to how your body regulates weight. So where are all these microplastics coming from? Now, we can't eliminate all of them completely, but I'm going to explain how we can minimize our exposure once we understand how our own daily habits are affecting this load. So these are some of the biggest ones. In the kitchen, bottled water. Okay, plastic bottles shed hundreds of thousands of particles per liter, especially when warm. Microwaving food in any kind of plastic containers, even ones that are labeled microwave safe. Plastic cutting boards. Every time your knife hits the surface, it shaves off a microscopic plastic directly into your food. Non-stick pans, especially once the coating starts to wear off. Also in your pantry, those to-go coffee cups, and even many kinds of tea bags which are lined and woven with plastic that break down in hot liquid. Sea salt and shellfish can concentrate ocean microplastics. In your home, household dust, a huge overlooked source, made largely because of the synthetic fibers that we get from polyester clothing, from our carpeting, from furniture. And I want to clear up a popular plastics myth that has been perpetrated by the plastic industry. We've been told to use BPA-free hard plastics because they were safer. But here's the truth. BPA-free is a chemical claim not a particle claim. The plastic still sheds microplastics through that normal wear and tear, the heat, the dishwashing, but just less than other softer types of plastics. And also, this is important, the chemicals that replace BPA haven't been found necessarily safer for your hormones either. In fact, some sources claim that they can be worse than the BPA they replaced. So the bottom line is hard plastic is a harm reduction, not a complete fix. So now I'm going to review 5 action steps that you can start today to reduce this load. And you don't need to overhaul your entire life. And these are in order of the biggest impact. So number 1, switch to filtered water in glass or stainless steel. This alone eliminates one of your biggest daily doses. 2, retire your plastic cutting boards in place of wood or bamboo. 3, microwave in glass or ceramic as much as possible. 4, swap your non-stick pans for cast iron or stainless steel. 5, rinse your rice before cooking it. This one surprises people because apparently thoroughly rinsing rice before boiling can rinse away about 20% of the surface microplastics clinging to it. So the same idea with produce, peeling and washing your carrots, your apples, does remove particles picked up from the soil and from handling. And it takes just an extra 10 seconds, and it is one of the easiest wins on this list. All right, so that's it. 5 swaps. Do those and you've addressed a lot of the controllable exposure all on your own. Another way to reduce your health risk is by supporting your body's own clearance system. And here's the part that many people miss. Reducing new exposure is only half the equation. So your body already has a built-in system for clearing out what's already there. The clearing system in your gut and in your liver. So a few of the most well-supported ways includes things like fermented foods, like unpasteurized kimchi, sauerkraut, kefir, miso. Introduce specific probiotic strains that research suggests can bind to these microplastic particles in your gut and help escort them out where they belong. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli sprouts, cabbage, kale, activate your liver's phase 2 detox pathways, which is what actually converts these chemicals into something that your body can safely eliminate. All right, how about fiber? Most people don't eat enough fiber. We need to eat about 25 plus grams a day. Things like beans, lentils, chia, flax, oats act like sponges, picking up those particles and moving them through faster. All kinds of fiber do that. Daily movement, even a 20-minute walk, helps your lymphatic system drain what your liver has already processed. So none of these require an expensive juicer or $200 supplements, unless you really want those. But these recommendations just require a handful of ingredients that you can find at your grocery store. And here's the honest summary. Microplastics are in your water, your food, your dust, and some of them are acting like tiny little hormone impersonators inside your body right at the stage of life when your own hormones are already shifting. So the combination is real. There's a physiological reason that weight loss can feel so much harder after 50, and this is one of the reasons. So reducing your exposure by supporting your gut and liver and reducing exposure in your house are the 2 pieces of the puzzle that you have control over. And the other one is which hormones are being disrupted the most. And that is where you can find through our hormone quiz, which is built specifically to help you figure out your top 2 hormone imbalances. And it only takes less than 3 minutes to do that. It'll show you which hormonal patterns are the most likely driving your weight loss resistance at this stage of life. So instead of guessing, you know exactly where to focus first. The link is in the description. I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.